Hi, welcome back to Guerra and Guerra, where we're sounding off on some of the most important topics regarding your money, and we want to hear what you have to say in Bridging the Gap. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome indeed. Today is April 2nd, 2025. The Trump administration I believe they basically announced a lot of their tariffs like they said they were going to today.
4 o'clock today, the Rose Garden is where all of this information is going to become apparent and open and available. This is considered to be a deciding event, but I think it's just going to be the very beginning of a whole new bunch of discussions here. But yeah, I wanted to kick off, we didn't do it yesterday, April 1st, but April is Financial Literacy Month, one of our favorite months for whatever reason that might be. But yes, looking forward to having our course go into all the different schools and create financial literacy where there was none in the past. So I'm so excited to hear about that. What do you have for us today, Seth?
Well, first off is basically all the major tariffs that are happening and basically the speculation of where our economy is going. And honestly, we're on the cusp of a recession, and while these tariffs aren't exactly going to be the cause of it dipping in there, once we enter that recessionary period and we start getting into a depression, the tariffs are going to screw us over, because just like in the last major recession we had, while there were a lot of tariffs at the time, they didn't affect the recession, but they dramatically made the resulting depression afterward much worse due to just lack of international trade screwing over the economy. So we're going to be struggling a lot during that time.
Yeah, if we look back at history, we see what's happened in the past and we compare it to what's happening now, we do have the indication that these tariffs are very inflationary, which makes the job for our Federal Reserve that has two mandates, making sure that prices stay down, so they try to control inflation and keep inflation at 2 to 2.5%, and they try to maximize employment, so they want to make sure that people have jobs. And right now our economy has about a 4% unemployment rate, which is one of the lowest in decades. So they're very happy about that. But what's moving forward is going to be very difficult for them to maintain that mandate, because right now jobs in the economy with slowing and inflation picking back up, and with tariffs pushing inflation back up, it's going to be very difficult to have happen what everybody wants to have happen, and that's for interest rates to come down, because interest rates won't come down if inflation is going up. So it's very difficult in what's going on here. But let me just share some statistics, because we're in the month of April for financial literacy and trying to bridge that gap. Low financial literacy. Approximately 60% of adults with low financial literacy report that they are not confident in that they have saved enough for retirement. Well, it's not a guessing game. We have a number we can share with you. We call it the financial independence number. And have you reached that number? And we can show you how to calculate that if you don't know how. Also, high financial literacy. In contrast, only 27% of those individuals with high financial literacy express that same type of confidence. So even if they think they know a lot, they haven't addressed that FIN number. And it's very important. Again, looking at becoming a saver, individuals with high financial literacy are nearly 3 times more likely to have retirement savings planned and then being able to compound and comprise for their retirement. Very exciting stuff. What do you think about those?
Pretty interesting information. Good trivia regarding Financial Literacy Month. Another interesting, or basically important thing to know about for budgeting is the 50-30-20 rule, basically allocating your income, 50% for your needs, 30% for wants, and having 20% of your income saved away for savings and debt. And this is a very good ideal. However, nowadays, with a good example I heard recently is that the average rent prices for renters is like 60% of the average American's income. So you're spending 60% of your income just to have a house for the average monthly income.
You're right. And with the way the economy has just recently changed in the last few years, it's actually cheaper to rent than it is to buy because of interest rates, because of the way inflation has compounded. Very interesting. And that's not good for Americans, because we want to be home owners. We want to own equity. We want that equity to increase in value. So by not being able to purchase a home and by not being able to participate in real estate, you're missing out on a major component. So yeah, I love that 50-20 or 50-30-20 rule and utilizing it. And that 20% of going towards your wants possibly, or the 30, if you read that FIRE, which is the, what was that FIRE again?
Regarding retiring.
Financial independent, retire early. That's what FIRE stood for. You may want to take that 20% and stick it in savings instead of those wants. But it's all about sacrifice and being able to get to your retirement age earlier. Some more trivia here. The lack of emergency funds. Around 41% of American adults have zero non-retirement savings, and that's basically in case you lose a job or something happens. You need at least 3 months of savings to cover those expenses, and covering unexpected costs. Only about 40% of those adults in the low financial area say that they are expected to have $400 in the event that an emergency comes up. So it's all about savings. Out of sight, out of mind. Start automated. Just a little bit can accumulate over time. And then one more here, the cost of financial literacy. What is the cost of financial literacy? Estimating the lack of understanding, significant. And let's just add this up. Over the last significant number of years, over $1 trillion in outstanding credit card debt in the U.S. Now, $1 trillion in debt, just in the U.S. alone. Does everybody need that much debt? Not sure, but I know most of my stuff is getting paid off. What else you got for us, Seth?
Well, mainly just regarding the recent tariffs, basically mainly the ones that are going to be hitting the automotive sector to another 25% there. And a lot of these tariffs are just going to affect us. Sure, they make it more expensive to import everything, but the people that are going to be eating those added costs are the people who buy. So it's going to be affecting us.
So if you're not familiar with how tariffs work, go ahead and watch one of our previous ones where we talk about how the tariffs work and how, as those goods come into the country, it's the businesses that are paying for that upfront cost, and some of them may be passing 100% of that cost on to us, the consumers. Now, not all of them, but that's just some of the things we need to talk about and understand. So why get financially literate? Financial literate people have less stress because they understand what's going on. Maybe the market's fluctuating now, but if you understand long term, things will still be okay. You can make sure that you're not as stressed about it. Reliance on information sources. Over 40% of individuals with low financial literacy rely on parents, friends, and acquaintances for their financial advice and support. So you want to make sure you get out of that, get financially literate, get your nest egg started, and know where you're headed with your goals and ambitions. That's all I have for today.
Same for me. Thank you for tuning into this week of Guerra and Guerra.
Thanks, and looking forward to a very beneficial financial literacy month in the month of April, and it's also tax. Make sure you get your taxes filed by April 15th, unless you file an extension that gives you 6 more months. Have a great day.
See you next week.